Sorry.
Hang on. To say loud things?
Loud, 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 loud.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be a little more like radio tone.
Okay.
Not too
radio
much
tone.
excitement because the audio is going a bit crazy. But we are live streaming
We
now.
are live streaming. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Ruben.
And I'm
End of
Lucas.
battle phase. Kruger.
Oh. And I'm Lucas. I don't have a fun name. But we are two members of the Face Downs.
We are the Face Downs.
And we should be live streaming right about now. So we'll give our people the okay when we think we're ready.
Yes. Let me just hop
Yeah,
on.
are we live streaming?
I'm checking.
Yep.
Oh, okay. We're in.
Awesome.
Right. We can give them the go ahead.
So, welcome to the Card Merchant
Second Card Merchant Online Tournament.
Card Merchant Tournament number 2. Last one was taken by Madolches, was it? Or was that TCG Collector?
That was the TCG Collector one.
Who won Card Merchant last time?
I believe it was Eldritch. All right, we are giving them the all go ahead.
All right, they're readying up. So this is the first round of Swiss, so we have no idea what people are going to be playing this time.
No.
So this
Very
should be exciting. Just make sure our live stream's up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, unsure of who's going first in this situation, but I believe
So
should
we
be...
are beginning with Drew.
Yeah, should be Drew at the bottom here. So starting with an Upstart Goblin, pretty standard first play, and straight into the Adamancipator starting
Okay,
board.
so we're looking with the normal summon of Doki Doki. This is a pretty pivotal clutch point.
Yeah, well, Doki Doki is a phenomenal starter for the Adamancipator deck, provided it does not get interrupted. And
Which it didn't.
Looks like it's going ahead. Summoning out a copy of Analyzer, searched off of Analyzer, being discarded there.
So we've got Excavations, we've got
Ghost Bell being shown in the
two
deck
targets being able to be summoned.
Also, was that a copy of Imperial Order? In
That
the main
was a
deck
copy
there?
of Imperial Order.
Interesting.
I think that's wise.
Yeah. So we see a summon of Dododo Dwarf Go 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 Glove.
This is one of the newest Onomatopoeia cards, released in LED 6, which is the magical hero.
And a staple of this deck for its ability to re-summon itself. And then
And the classic Gallant Granite.
yeah, going into a copy of Gallant Granite here.
I'm assuming to search either the Block Dragon or the Researcher.
We shall see. Considering there are 3 Earths engraved now, Block Dragon makes sense to me.
Will this be interrupted? So I'm just going to get some statistics. No, we have a Seeker.
Seeker. So Researcher is in hand, or Block Dragon, depending on how that opening hand turned out. Researcher was in hand.
Researcher is in hand.
So we've opened with Doki Doki, Analyzer, Researcher, and Upstart Goblin. So an interestingly stacked opening hand, with precedingly no interruption from the opponent at this point.
So this is a 13-person tournament.
It is?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen any stats. We've gone through so many audio technical difficulties going onto this stream, but...
We have the Gigas flipped off the Researcher, so this will obviously be summoned, triggering the Dododo Dwarf Go 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 Glove
I believe that is actually an
resurrected?
activated effect in Grave, as opposed to a trigger effect. The two play off of each other really nicely, with one summoning the other fairly frequently in the course of a duel.
And it is really beneficial to have the Gigas turn 1 because it does have that clause being able to skip, making you skip your battle phase as a result of resurrecting it off of its trigger effect. So we've got a lot of ways we can go right now.
Yeah, this is a fairly standard Adamancipator opening play of stacking the board with resources. There's been no effort to go into any form of interaction, but...
We do have Reproticus.
Reproticus hits the field.
Now, I'm excited.
This
is new.
Unexpected.
So we're either going to adjust attribute or type.
So can this only on field?
Yes.
Or in fact, only things that this points to, so... Hang on, I'm getting a message from Keza. Yep.
Are we okay?
He's asking if the stream's up.
Yes.
Yeah. So we see a Reproticus come down, but perhaps simply just a link 2 to go into here. I'm not sure if this has any kind of technical play.
Potentially. I mean, it is a very generic link 2. It is just 2 monsters.
Yes.
So potentially as a board clearer, I'm interested. Okay, we're linking to the, I'm assuming, Curious. Okay.
Are we seeing an FTK here?
That would make sense. That was 3 cards of different types. The same attribute, but different type.
So Reproticus to change the type to go into Curious.
So Curious being able to dump the Imperial Order. So I'm now assuming we're going to see Griffin play to reset
This seems like a
this Imperial
hefty,
Order.
an expensive play to get around Dark Ruler no more, but it's left them totally susceptible to a main deck Nibiru.
And we whiff on the Seeker.
Interesting. It's not great with no non-tuners on field and no block dragon. It's going to be difficult to build a lot from this.
I'm interested. I would like to see where this goes.
Now, Griffin doesn't need to be co-linked to recur a card from grave. That's only to draw a card. So,
I believe you're correct. Oh, we have a Block Dragon.
did we mill a block dragon off of Curious?
No, we opened it.
In hand. Intriguing. Well, this is good. This could be linked away with Griffin, and then you could retrieve things like Gigantes to synchro up.
Yes, I mean, interestingly, because it adds, is it rocks? It's rocks to deck? Yes.
It adds any rocks up to the
from deck to
level
hand.
of block dragon itself.
And assigns. Wow. What an amazing opening hand from Drew here.
This is a pretty stacked opening hand. I can see why he decided to go for the Curious play.
Now, do we get the draw of Drageye because it was resurrected?
We do get the draw, I believe. Unless it specifies... Nope, Adamancipator card, so we'll get the draw here.
Interesting. And we're stacking the Gigas.
So you're going to draw the Gigas, then presumably just as a discard target at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Connor's going to be feeling pretty concerned by where this is going to head. Because we haven't seen a Raptite come down either, so...
I feel like we could possibly see that now.
Just as extension.
As extension. And I do think we will see the link to Griffin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason you play Curious in combo decks, right? I mean, we wouldn't dump the Imperial Order.
Just to have it there.
It's got a great grave effect. This is good. We can relax and just...
Lots of thinking. So we're linking Curious and Block Dragon into Appaloosa for 2.
Okay.
Makes sense. Means you've still Nibiru-proofed your board.
I mean, if Nibiru was around, it would have dropped.
And we are crowing the Block Dragon.
So perhaps,
Interesting. So we're not going to be recurring it. However, if you're aware that the Griffin is about to come out, would you potentially interrupt that with the...
Whoa. Wait. What was DD crowed?
The Block Dragon.
Block Dragon? Oh, of course, that's from field to grave it gets its effect.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, giving your opponent access to further Block Dragon setups is problematic, as well as the fact that a lot of people are running a single copy of Block Dragon, though the fact that Drew opened it makes me think he could be running more than one there. So we'll see a summon of Gigantes, and then
a Synchro or a Link
into Halqifibrax.
Could we see the O-Line? We did see it whiffed
I'd
through.
presume an O-Line, yes. Correct.
Because this would being synchroed with Gigantes to give you Raptite, so you have your own access to your archetype DD Crow as well as a token.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, do you sit on the Raptite, or do you just, at this point, if you're going to, potentially go into a Griffin play, and you don't fear so much things like Dark Ruler no more, or Lightning Storm with that Imperial Order set.
So we've got the Raptite, and we've got the token generation from O-Lion. Great card. Looking forward to its upgrade in the Battles of Legend Armageddon.
Yeah, in 2023.
And we've got Raptite.
So seeing there as well,
hitting a Doki Doki.
A Madolche Pudding Cess, a very common tech card for Adamancipators as well, just giving them a free level 4 on field.
That would be Petting Cessor.
Oh, that's Petting Cessor?
Yes.
Correct. Pudding Cess is the...
level 5.
The level 5. So summon of Doki Doki, that's fine. Gives them more material to link with. I mean, you could go into a Herald at this point, but that would probably lock you out of summoning any more tuners.
And also prevent a Griffin play.
Yes. Do you think we'll see Griffin here? Griffin and then a Borrelord Savage, potentially?
I just have no idea how we're going to be able to get to that, because we would need at minimum a level 6.
Well, we could see a co-linked Griffin here, which would be quite nice as well.
Also preventing cards from activating their effects if they're not linked. No, Griffin's only linked.
Exactly.
So we're going to go...
So they could summon
Borrelord
Appaloosa's
Savage.
arrow there. Dragite.
Dragite. We are going to get a Water Engrave, so this makes sense.
And there is the Crystal Engrave as well.
Yes.
good reason to run that crystal in the deck, despite its draw effect.
Now, the interesting thing about Griffin is that it does say monsters need to be linked to activate their effects.
There we go, seeing the Nightmare Griffin come down.
So, yes. Now, interesting, this will obviously target the Imperial Order.
Yep. There we go. And is it set or...
It is set off Griffin.
Correct.
And we are co-linked, so it will draw a card. So my only issue is that we have an upwards arrow from Appaloosa. So if you would like to activate monster effects, you
and there's the end phase there. No Abyss Dweller, no... we have an Appaloosa for 2 and a Dragite. Depending on the deck, this could not matter. If we're seeing a deck like Eldritch come down, or any kind of back row deck, this is fairly weak. Or any deck in particular that could beat over the Appaloosa. Definitely an intriguing play with the Curious. I've thought about it myself. I play Adamancipators, but I think historically it's shown through Spiral. And there you go, seeing Salamangreat hit the board.
Okay.
This could be bad for the Salad player. Appaloosa can hurt. Imperial Order can stop their ability to use Sanctuary or Will or Circle. Could make it difficult for them to get started depending on what they opened.
Now,
Spinny in hand, okay.
I'm assuming, this is fine because you wouldn't negate that.
No, they would negate the summon.
I'm interested though because the Foxy effect activated.
Special summoned monsters on the field cannot activate their effects. So essentially, Connor has... So Balink's hitting the field, however, it will not activate.
To search Sanctuary. Which is obviously
could have summoned it to the Arrow of Appaloosa. An interesting call there. I suppose they want to save that arrow.
I'm assuming so. Potentially for a Gazelle or a Spinny.
So Appaloosa will negate the Spinny.
Okay.
This could be... the thing about Salamangreat is they do rely on these initial monster effects. You see a lot of the time the debug. Yeah, Connor's saying, well, there. Correct. Those initial Salamangreat effects do need to resolve. And unfortunately, without access to spells, it's going to be very difficult to get there. You could have seen an attack over the Appaloosa there. I'm wondering why anything was stopping that from happening.
And we have a Signs.
I think this is just game for Connor here, depending on what happens. But yeah, no card set, no Nibiru, clearly, unless they top decked it for turn. And they're pretty quickly going to, here we go, summoning a bunch of cards, wiping the board. See, they're stacking Seeker off of Signs to summon back Raptite.
And you could Dragite to effectively bounce for 1.
Which at this point is almost unnecessary because you're dealing with a single Balinks here.
So we will be bouncing for at minimum 1, obviously.
Yeah.
2. I am really interested with the main deck Go spell. I think that's very clever.
I think it's correct.
It's a hand trap that obviously hits one of the other big decks in the competition right now, which would be Eldritch. Obviously, it does hurt the Block Dragon because you have cards that activate in Grave or cards that special summon from Grave. But Eldritch, that's a huge anti-Eldritch tech.
Anti-Eldritch and Ghost Bell, does it negate things that activate it in Grave?
Yes.
So things like Block Dragon as it hits the graveyard.
It's activation in Grave. It's, I believe, even effects that activate, like if they're banished. I can get a quick double check on that one.
But of course, we see here Block Dragon returns, I presume, drawn or dumped off of something. Yes, so this deck just has so much recursion ability, and you'll see here just no difficulty pumping through damage. Should have switched the attack or made some way to put that Raptite into an aggressive figure because...
That's just a concede.
Okay, we'll see a concede regardless, and the 2 players will be moving on to side decking.
Now, what do you think are some really popular side deck choices, especially if you know as a Salamangreat player that you're versing Adamancipator?
Well, you know as a Salad player that letting the Adamancipator player go first is going to be a huge problem. However, I don't think the usual suite of Salamangreat interaction will completely stop an Adamancipator player.
I mean, if you are able to access something like a Roar and a Rage, or either or, being able to non-targeting destroy 2 is a huge, especially if you're just destroying normal summons.
True. We may see an anti-magic arrow come through with the Adamancipator player. It's been a common side deck choice for combo decks this format against back row, effectively being a Dark Ruler No More that just locks you out of the battle phase, which is effectively the same restriction, maybe slightly more restrictive. So we're continuing the side here. I think Dark Ruler No More is a no-brainer, even if the Salamangreat player is going first, because it's going to be an effective way to shut down whatever counter that the Adamancipator player has.
And the Adamancipator player is going first.
And if Salamangreat was not playing Nibiru before, they will have immediately put that card into their deck. So let's see if Drew can get to that summon 4 negation or summon 5 negation that you need to get around that card.
So we're seeing straight away an Adamancipator discarding a Dragite. This has been a really common tech in the Adamancipators. It's obviously a huge draw engine, being able to search, in this case, a Dodo Dwarf and a Go-Go-Go Giant, which, interestingly, you said has seen less play.
Yeah, so the main purpose I've found for playing this deck of this combo is, of course, to get to your rank 4 Gallant Granite, but also a good way to feed the beast that is Block Dragon. Needing 3 Earths to get started. Say if you open Block Dragon or find a way to search it off of this Gallant Granite that's about to be made, you effectively start off with the resources to summon it.
Yes.
However, this is a very fragile combo because you do not get to negation remotely before 5th summon, so a Nibiru can pretty quickly end this turn.
And we are searching the Seeker, so I'm assuming that telegraphs a Block Dragon in hand? Researcher, sorry.
Yeah. So Researcher could be Block Dragon in hand, or could be a potential fear of overcommitting and running into something like a Nibiru too early here.
And we see a Doki Doki.
Interesting. So there have been... This will be a 5th summon.
This will be summon number 5.
You know,
so unless we have a Block Dragon in hand...
A Nibiru could end this turn
Nibiru
right
could
here.
end this turn.
And we're seeing Doki Doki activate.
Discard for cost. I'm assuming for another Dododo.
Or Analyzer. Could be Analyzer hitting the field here.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really rough for Connor if he goes another turn without being able to stop this Adamancipator player. And we'll see an activation.
Activation.
Potentially could come back to bite them if they summon a Go-Go monster.
And we whiff on that one.
But they whiff.
And we do see a Lightning Storm, assuming for this Go Second side.
Yeah, it seems perhaps they were faked into a Go Second side here, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, the flexibility of the Adamancipator deck, you'll mainly be siding out things like Imperms and Imperial Orders. Your general engine pieces never needed to be never need to be sided out. So
we're seeing a summon into Raptide.
Mm-hmm. And just a blind Raptide here, hoping to hit, presumably.
And we do have a Dodo Dwarf.
Yes, that will be a useful summon here. So you see, Salad, do you think we're going to see a pivot maybe towards more of a Abyss Dweller and hard monster negation board? I mean, you're still feeling, fairly worried about things like Dark Ruler No More.
I think with Salad's ability to really they have a very small engine, so it does allow for a lot of flexibility. Obviously, we saw that they main a DD Crow, and that's just one of the many hand traps that Salamangreat can run.
Into a Hulk here.
I'm assuming the O-Lion.
Yeah. I do somewhat fear here that because Nibiru has not hit the field, there is maybe a casualness about this combo that implies, oh, well, they don't have Nibiru. Things are fine. But I'm still not seeing any kind of negation hit the field in game 2. So perhaps Connor's just holding onto the rock for dear life here, hoping to wipe as many resources as possible. But so far, so good for the Adamancipators. Unperturbed.
Adamant, as one
Adamant,
would say.
Sort of stalwart as a rock in a blizzard. A blizzard of fire.
A blizzard of fire. A fury of fire.
Exactly. So O-Lion doesn't open up a lot of plays here. I mean, we can definitely see...
another level 6 Synchro, potentially a Barkion to avoid an evenly matched.
Barkion would be interesting against Salad because it does shut down the majority plays, but we're going to see...
either Crystal Wing or a Dragite. Okay,
we're seeing Dragite again. Fairly safe call as a general spell trap negate.
We now have the token generation off of O-Lion.
And from here, perhaps just an Appaloosa and a pass.
We have not summoned Block Dragon this turn.
That was... Yeah, you're right.
So potentially there may be a Block Dragon.
No, we've searched Researcher, so we would need to see it in
Researcher,
hand.
So,
I mean, Appaloosa Dragite against a Salad player is still fairly strong.
Effective.
But the Salad player obviously opted to go second, so could be seeing a Dark Ruler no more hit the field and probably just taking this game.
And I could say potentially, okay, we're linking into an IP. Okay. So I'm assuming we will next turn have a Crystron Hulk Fibrax quick synchro.
Okay. So I haven't seen much. Adamancipators are known for their fairly unbeatable opening boards, and it feels like this build, and there's the Dark Ruler no more. Not surprised by that. Fairly common side deck against Adamancipators. We saw the overextension to get Imperial Order for that exact card.
Now, do you think we'll have any hand traps in Drew's hand?
Well, he was definitely maining Ghost Bell, which would stay in, presumably, against Salads. And Nibiru is also an option. I mean, a very powerful card against Salamangreat. Obviously, Drew has decided to go second. So, very likely we'll see that card as well.
And the Foxy does whiff.
Wow. A first for Salamangreat players. A Foxy whiff.
So I'm assuming we're just going to see standard Salad shenanigans now. We're going to link the Balinks, we're going to search the Sanctuary, we will reincarnate summon, potentially opening the Gazelle, or maybe a Spinny even.
Yeah. I mean, we're just basically sitting around to see if Nibiru is in Drew's hand, because if not, this is pretty much cleaned up for Salads. I mean, there's no Block Dragon, very little in the option of Recursion in this situation.
And we see the Spinny in hand.
Spinny in hand, perfect.
Now, no search off the Balinks, so I'm assuming that telegraphs opening a Sanctuary?
Potentially looking to summon it off the second. Yeah, with the Sanctuary in hand. You'd have to imagine.
Linking into the second Bailings and then activating the Sanctuary. Even though I think you could be pretty confident in the fact that there is no interruption right now. Nothing can really negate a spell activation from hand. So
yeah, very, very few things can.
And we could see a Ghost Bell.
And
this could definitely hurt, but we don't.
So we're seeing a summon back of Spinny. IP activating here, but to no avail. I don't know if player here was fully aware that would happen. He was just sick of it. Okay, that makes sense. Online simulators can be fairly frustrating as they continuously ask you if you would like to activate Ash on your own search cards, for example.
And the answer is yes.
You opened the Sanctuary. So we're going to see here a reincarnation. Sunlight Wolf, again.
Obviously prompting.
Popping this because
it is a prompt.
Potentially unaware of the ignore chain button, but that's fine. Online simulators can be frustrating that way.
And so we see the reincarnation of the Sunlight Wolf. Now, if we have no way to trigger the Sunlight Wolf, I mean, that being said, we have nothing engraved to recur.
Yeah, so going to a battle phase here, presumably just to beat up the IP Masquerena. Or the Halka Fibrax, but neither of those cards, beating up the IP, neither of those cards particularly meaningful during the next turn. But if this is it, if we, potentially set a Rage in this situation.
Depending on what we've opened, a Roar or a Rage.
I mean, we saw no Gazelle, no Circle.
A Spinny and a Foxy.
Yeah, okay.
So we're back row.
Presumably that would be... setting two.
Okay, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I would like to see this.
So setting 2 could easily be a Roar and a Rage. Presumably this player is running many of those.
You honestly don't need to in a Salamangreat build.
Oh, and he's just taken the chat misplayed. Don't know what that means, but perhaps set a card he shouldn't have.
And so we're going to see the Drageye immediately attempt to bounce, which is obviously a great way to surpass the Bailing's protection.
Yeah, and this
really
would
your biggest
Roar.
Yeah. Your biggest counter to this as Salamangreat player would be the Roar, as we see.
Which is good because, again, we have no noteworthy extension in hand. And still no Block Dragon effect.
We do have the ability to
stack the deck and put Dragite.
Reset or return the Dragite and put Laputite into the deck.
Intriguing.
And we see an Analyzer.
Okay. I believe that was a normal summon.
That is a normal summon because the Hulka Fibrax is on field. Correct. So we're guaranteed the summon, and we do see the one-off red reboot.
There.
That is correct.
Came at the wrong time, but nice to know you're there. All right. We're going to see some recursion here.
So we could see a pretty devastating Rage right now if
That's
we pop the Analyzer and the Dragite. That would prevent all further extension.
Because otherwise from here we can see...
Another Dragite.
Another Dragite. We could see them go into a Dugaris to just keep going, recur some resources. And you have the Hulk there as a Link 2, so a Link 4 is also potential here if they just wanted to go straight into Appaloosa. Lots of options here, but we got to see what that other set back row is.
And we see a block dragon in hand.
All right, so drew the block dragon. Love to see it, folks.
Now this will be interesting because this obviously opens a lot more.
At this point, it's almost,
lines of play.
It's fairly safe to say that you can just link these away and go full combo. Oh wow. Adamancipator deck, extremely scary. A deck you really can't let live for more than one turn without setting up your own kind of unbeatable strategy. Certainly Eldritch can compete with the number of destructive interaction they have. Adamancipator's very weak to destruction.
So we see a link into, I'm assuming, a unicorn to spin back. I'm probably going to say the back row.
It's going to have to be the back row because it's not going to be difficult to, yeah, there you go. See block dragon
and we
triggering engrave there.
And we can chain block the ad, so obviously ash-proofing the deck.
You're just cutting a lightning storm there. Not necessary at this point. Far from necessary. And there we go. Gigantes, Doki Doki,
and Researcher.
And here she comes. So currently seeing on the market, Researcher and Eldritch the Golden Lord are extremely expensive. Tough to say if this would be the same kind of meta breakdown from this tournament in real life, considering people need to pay rent.
Yes.
But fairly popular on the online circuit, these two decks have been cleaning up. Though in New Zealand, not so much winning tournaments. Instead, we reserve that right for Zodiac and Madolche. No, that's it. Yeah, Zodiac and Madolche. So Adamancipator struggling to prove itself in the top 8, despite being an almost unbeatable menace in Swiss. And yeah, from here we can see another Dragite. We can see just an Appaloosa or a Boral Sword or all number of things that could deal with this board quite easily. Boral Sword. A card that I'm not running right now, but I can see the potential for it. It's so easy to swarm the board with materials that it feels like, you know, running things like Draco Berserker of the Tenyi or High Speed Road Chanbara would be. Chanbara. I always mess that one up.
Every time.
But yes, those cards would seem more resource efficient. But then again, Boral Sword is Boral Sword, and Block Dragon is Block Dragon. So,
and I think the writing is on the wall right now.
That is effectively a 2-card OTK if you can use Block Dragon and Boral Sword together.
The Balinks to protect.
But I mean, at this point, do you even bother? You got Boral Sword there reducing its attack. If you Balinks to protect, they're just going to smack it again. This is game. This is a very definitive and decisive 2-0 for Adamancipators here.
Yep, we do see the Balinks to protect. So the writing's on the wall. We see Drew taking our first feature match with Adamancipators 2-0.
I don't call it too soon. The handless combo Infernities could come out. But I'm sure we're just seeing EDO Pro take a little while to determine damage.
Yep. And we
Comment
see the
declaring
good game
the GG
from
there. Congratulations to
Drew
with Adamancipators taking
round 1.
Match 1.
Match 1.
All right. Well, that was cool.
That was
our first time streaming a match. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to keep on the air, I guess, until the next round. Although that was such a decisive win. There was half an hour. Maybe we could observe some other games that are going on the side.
I think we should just wait. I think we can just wait.
All right.
And see what the other rounds to bring.
All right, we could just try and put on some music. I don't know how to do this, so...
Well, you've got to make sure it's not copyright.
Yeah.
So
I'll compose some original music. But before that, post-match thoughts on those.
Well, I would love to see a breakdown. I think we're obviously going to see a breakdown very soon in terms of what decks are being played.
Thoughts on the Salad player opting to go second there? Salad's not particularly known for their going second explosivity, especially with Mirage Stalio gone. Potentially a missed call against Adamancipators?
I think that Salamangreat do have a really good way of being able to go second because you have things being like Heat Leo and um, obviously Gazelle or Circle being a really great way to start picking apart boards. The Dark Ruler, obviously, as we're seeing, is a very, very popular side deck staple at this point.
Though an issue for Salamangreat, I think, particularly with a card like Dark Ruler No More, is their historic inability to beat over high attack point monsters with more than 2300 attack, proving quite difficult for Salamangreats to remove on their own turn. Do you not agree?
Well, I agree and disagree because obviously Heat Leo has the ability to minimize a lot of cards' attacks with its second effect.
However, that is a very expensive way to beat over effectively a Blue Eyes White Dragon, in that instance, in the form of Dragite. And that does not bode well for them clearing the rest of the board. And as you saw there with Sunlight Wolf, was only able to beat over either Halka-Fibrex or IP Masquerena. Dark Ruler No More, maybe not the strongest removal card. I'm sure he put in other things.
I definitely think it is one of the stronger cards going forward during this format. We do see a lot of, obviously, effect negation. It's a bit more techy, though. Obviously,
you fall into the same trap with Kaijus, or Nibiru, in fact, where if you put that thing on the board, you need to be sure that your deck can deal with it. No one likes to die to their own Nibiru token.
No.
So, in that case, we did see an inability to deal with the extreme problem card, which immediately baited out that Roar and allowed the player to continue onward. I mean, if they managed to save that Roar for the Analyzer on field, if they dealt with the Dragite and left them with just, some basic link material, probably still would have been game. Didn't seem like they opened particularly strong for going second, but perhaps would have given them more opportunity. However, that Dragite just presented such an immediate problem, if they'd just gone to battle phase even.
I mean, Dragite's quite a unique card in the fact, like this non-targeting up to 5 bounce back to hand is a very effective form of removal. Obviously, it bypasses, in this case, the Balinks. You can quickly avoid like destruction protection and, remove like field removal effects. So
it's a threat.
It's a threat.
All of the Adamancipator cards are threats because if you leave them on the field, they are not once per duel cards.
No.
And they have no cost. So it's easy to see Raptite as a good extender, but when you start to see it as a turn 3 card, or as a card that can even quick effect DD Crow your opponent if you're running a card like O-Lion.
Just wins and grave.
You start to see the intense versatility of this deck. I mean, pre-release, people were even seeing potential in the pure variant. And I mean pure as in like 3 Dragite, 3 Leonite, 3 Raptite.
Oh, yes.
Was putting out fairly substantial boards. Appaloosa with a Spell Trap Negate and a DD Crow is basically what Dragon Link was putting out pre-MR5. Pre-Dual Overload was a similar kind of board, and that was taking names. So, yes, and Dragite, as I found out in an Adamancipator Mirror, is a hell of a card to deal with. Because it has 3,000 attack, and if you don't remove it, it's going to remove you.
It will
remove.
on
T.
And that is the truth. I think that the biggest weakness with Adamancipator is obviously the vulnerability to things like Dark Ruler and even, not so much evenly matched, but things like anti-magic arrows. Any of these huge back row or these spell and trap effects that can really heavily affect, obviously Dark Ruler being very unique in the way of it, that it's spell speed 4 card from monster effects. And I think it's really clever that we see Adamancipator's maining cards like Imperial Order because that Dark Ruler is the largest problem.
I agree. And I've seen profiles of people running the equivalent of 2 Imperial Orders by also main decking things like Anti-Spell. Because the deck is thin. It's not overly combo reliant. I mean, Spiral had the issue of being very, very combo reliant. I mean, you can literally run anything in Adamancipators and still do well. You could run the Magnet Warrior vanillas and still put out like a 5 negate board.
Absolutely.
So there's a little bit more leniency, I would say, as long as you're going to hit those rocks when you excavate, which is, I think, a thing people feared initially, that this deck would be luck-based. Far from it. It's more of a fluid combo deck, similar to something like Hero, I suppose, in which, in Hero's case, what got hit by negation would determine the path that your combo took. This is the same, but you sort of negate yourself by going, I really hope I hit level 4, and then you run into a level 3 or 2. You need to adapt your combo to make that work.
You have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to quickly and effectively adapt your strategy to make it the most versatile and effective it can be. You want to be able to have an end goal and know that no matter how you pivot, you are able to effectively achieve an end board that can be quite intimidating to some of the more meta decks right now. Notably, things like Beast and Barkion are quite easy to achieve within the deck as long as you run the accommodating levels, especially Barkion. I mean, we know that evenly matched is a problem and is kind of seeing less play right now, but I
think it's weak right now.
It is a bit weak right now, but in the terms of like Salamangreat, or you have things like Eldritch, which is such a trap-heavy deck, being able to consistently banish 2 to not once per turn or once per chain, might I add, negate traps with Barkion.
It's not once per chain.
Exactly.
It's literally as much as you would like.
I just said Barkion is not once per chain.
Exactly.
So it becomes, the deck has such a high ceiling and a really incredible layout of how it can perform.
Yeah, and on the case of evenly matched, it hasn't shown up in many side decks at all.
No.
And I think part of the reason for that is that the predominant deck you would use it against, which is Eldritch or Adamancipators, are both fairly robust at putting out a spell trap negate in the form of Golden Land Forever. Eldritch is searchable. If they fear the evenly matched, they can just handily give themselves a way to deal with that card. Adamancipators, of course, also putting out spell trap negates like no one's business. Things like Barkion, Dragite, Borreload Savage. It's fairly unbelievable that they would not have an out. Even Herald is an out.
Herald.
Yeah.
A really interesting card, and obviously quite easy to bring out with just a level 2 and a Doki Doki, and it again just further Nibiru proofs the board.
Yeah, that's your main Nibiru out outside of Guardian, which is not everyone's running Kawaki Mirror Guardian.
Yeah. And that's obviously a tech choice.
Yeah. But potentially if we see people starting to side deck heavier and heavier against Adamancipators, we will start to see those cards more frequently due to the fact that, Nibiru can still end turns if it gets to them before Block Dragon hits the field.
I definitely think that Adamancipator, I honestly think it will just take some in-person duels for people to really understand the situation. And obviously, as we've been testing out, it's, not too bad having to wait for people to excavate. It's not the biggest concern. And I think also not a large waste of time, as a lot of people were joking about.
Yeah. All right. So we'll leave it there. Before we go, we should probably say that if you enjoy what we're talking about and would like to hear more, we do have a podcast called The Face Downs, available on Spotify and iTunes. 9 episodes of that up right now. Our last one was a hell of a show with a friend of ours called Thomas, who
Great friend Thomas
is probably watching this now. Hi, Thomas. But we will leave you for about 10 minutes. I need to go get a drink of water, and then we'll be ready for the next round.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you guys again. Ciao.
Ciao. We'll leave it streaming. Did we stop it? What?